Hi everyone! Just a reminder before we start this video that you're all awesome. I'm Stace and welcome to my channel, and today I want to talk about quitting because I feel like it's something that's not talked about a lot. Well, it is, I suppose. There are inspirational quotes everywhere about not quitting, but I want to talk about how it's actually okay to choose to quit sometimes. So let me explain what I mean and let me know the last thing you decided to quit and why in the comments. Let's go. Quitting. This is something that can have good or bad connotations depending on the context. Quitting smoking is considered good. Quitting a bad job, also good. A vast majority of other things, usually bad. But my question is why? Why is the reaction almost negative when people say that they're quitting something and then they face the pressure to continue no matter what? I'll be speaking mostly in the context of projects, hobbies, and life pursuits and that kind of thing here mainly. So let's take a few examples to get across what I mean. Writing. A friend of mine once spoke in our writing community about how they were considering giving up writing altogether. Before even hearing the reasons why, nearly everyone started telling them not to give up and to just keep going. And whilst everyone almost definitely meant it in a good way because that community is super encouraging and amazing, to me it just seemed very dismissive that they didn't ask why first. And there was just this unanimous pressure that this person should keep writing no matter what because everyone else couldn't imagine not writing. Another friend of mine was studying at university but really didn't enjoy the subject after 1 out of 3 years, so they dropped out and didn't tell their parents for a very long time because they were so worried about the angry fallout that they knew would come from the fact that they'd quit. When they did eventually tell their parents, they were right about the reaction. When I once mentioned that I might want to work towards a different career someday, one of the reactions from someone was, "But you've got a really good and stable job that pays well and you're really lucky to have that." As though potentially planning to quit one career that was currently providing a stable income in favour of another that I might enjoy more was somehow bad. Like I should never consider moving jobs again simply because I was lucky to have the job I've got. What I want to know is, why are all of the quitting situations above immediately tarred with a negative brush? Why are we constantly pushed to keep doing something simply because we've already spent time and effort on it? And it's always posited as a waste of any time spent on that thing when you quit, or as though you're in some way ungrateful, or how it's throwing away something if you happen to be really good at something you're considering quitting. And all this is said usually before people even listen to the reasons behind the desire to quit a lot of the time. So I'm going to say something that you might not hear as often as you see these inspirational quotes telling you to never give up no matter what. It's okay to quit. Of course, there is a bit of a caveat. I think it's okay to quit something if the reasons are linked to your own well-being or your own desires for your life. What do I mean by this? I would encourage someone who's considering quitting writing to keep going if they were just having a little bit of a confidence wobble or struggling a little bit with self-doubt or many of the other things that come along with creative crafts. But I would completely support them quitting writing if they told me that writing no longer made them happy in any way. I would encourage someone who wanted to quit studying to consider carrying on if they were just finding it a little harder than they thought and doubting their own intelligence, but I would completely support them quitting if they told me that they hate the subject and studying it was making them miserable. You get the point. It's okay to quit things that no longer serve us in a positive way, but that positive is often buried and ignored in favour of the automatic association of quitting with failure. It is not failure to make a choice that benefits you for the better, and I think we need to start normalising stopping things that are no longer positive for us, regardless of what other people say, think, or want. I've been writing for a long time, but if it suddenly became something negative for me, then I would quit. And I love making videos for this channel, but if one day I no longer enjoyed doing so, I would stop. And the list goes on, but at the end of the day, you are only here once, and you should be able to choose to leave things behind that no longer serve you or make you happy. You should be able to do this without being made to feel like a failure or like you've wasted your time. Sometimes it takes a long time to learn what career you might want, for instance, or maybe that perhaps you don't enjoy playing that musical instrument because you were only doing it to make someone else happy in the first place. And this, of course, is very easy to say, and some people do find themselves in situations where making that decision to quit seems impossible or is forbidden because someone else wants them to continue or makes them feel awful for even considering quitting. I feel this is especially prominent in situations relating to money. You know, if you've got parents that pay for music or dance lessons for 15 years of their child's life and then they want to quit, that's rarely going to go down well and will probably be seen as a waste. But if they're no longer enjoying dancing, for instance, then it's more of a waste of money to force them to continue, in my view. So say someone leaves a high-paying job they hate to start a new career that pays less but they enjoy more. People's first reaction will probably not be positive in some cases. You know, oh, you were earning so much money at that job, why would you quit? But money isn't everything, and if the new position means you can still afford your bills and enjoy your job, then why aren't we celebrating that you were strong enough to make a brave decision for yourself instead? I think it's so important to ask ourselves what we want and what makes us happy. I used to be more than concerned with what made other people happy, and I was very much a people pleaser. I still kind of am, a little bit, but that is a constant work in progress. And I struggle a lot with guilt. I can be very easily made to feel bad for not doing something that I didn't even want to do in the first place. But I'm much happier now that I'm actually trying to put myself first more, and I hope all of you can do the same. If something that you have the choice to quit is making you unhappy, or you're only doing it for someone else, then it really is okay to have a think about whether or not you want to carry on with it. Of course, there are some things that are obligations and can't just be so easily set aside, and that's a whole other matter entirely. But it's not a failure to make a choice for yourself. It's your life. You're the one who has to live it. So even if it's scary, remember that it's more of a waste to continue with something that makes you miserable than making the informed decision to stop. And I'm just going to reiterate again that I am mainly talking about, you know, pursuits in life, hobbies, personal projects, that kind of thing. And that's about it for this video. Tell me your stories in the comments if you've ever experienced a situation similar to the ones that I've been mentioning and what you decided to do in the end. Look after yourself and remember that you are enough and you have the right to make choices that benefit you and you alone. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!